warm welcome to all of you joining our program today. Wonderful pictures, isn't it? Just what we just saw. So these are some of the old pictures that we have, and we have digitized it right now. And yeah, so it's very nice to see, all the uncles and aunties of our center, looking so young, looking so, vibrant. So that brings us to our program today. And today is a very special day, right, for all of us Sai devotees. Not sure how many of us have noticed that, but it has been 10 years since Swami has transcended his mortal coil on this very day, 10 years ago. So over the years, I think we have come a very long way from feeling the sorrow of missing Bhagavan to accepting his formless nature, and now celebrating his life and his message throughout the years. And for today's program, we have lined up some very interesting presentations where we will be having a keynote address by our guest of honor for today, and as well as a special video documentary on the history of our center. Not sure how many of you know the history of our center. Our center has been as old as me, so you can guess how old has it been, right? Okay, and we also have a very special musical presentation from the Bhajan team of SSBC Bandar Klang, celebrating Swami's life story. All of us know Swami's life story, and we have read it, we have seen it somewhere. But this is the first time we're going to experience it in a musical format. So I'm also very excited to see what they have come up with. And a gentle reminder to all devotees as well joining today's program to keep your audio and video muted except when talking. Please do also feel free to interact with us via the chat function. And please do, if you, we also have a YouTube channel, and we are live streaming the program today on YouTube as well. So you can watch via YouTube as well. And feel free to share the link with your family and friends. Right. With that, let us start today's program with the opening prayers.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Sairam, welcome back. For those who have just joined, just a gentle reminder to keep your audio and video muted, except when talking, and please do utilize the chat function to interact. We are looking forward for your opinions, suggestions, questions, and we'll try to address them time to time, right? Okay, so moving on with our program, we will now invite the chairman of SSBC Bandar Klang, Brother Rama, for his welcoming address. Sairam, uncle.
Sairam. Sairam, everyone. Sairam, Harvin. Sairam, and a very good evening, dear brothers, sisters, and children. என்னோட வயசுக்கு யாரையும் அங்கிள் ஆண்டின்னு கூப்பிட முடியுமான்னு தெரியல. பட் இருந்தாலும் இருந்தீங்கன்னா சைராம் அங்கிள், சைராம் ஆண்டி. Sairam to Brother Guna, to our distinguished guest for the day, all the way from New Zealand. Thanks for accepting our invitation, brother. Though it's nearing bedtime over there. A very warm welcome to all of you for joining SSBC Bandar Klang again for yet another virtual program. Last month we had two virtual programs, our Healthy Happy program and also our center meeting. Now we have gathered to celebrate our beloved Swami's Aradhana Mahotsavam, as well as our center anniversary, which was on 20th April 2021. Today is a special day as we are celebrating our center anniversary virtually for the first time. And in line with that, who else but the person who planted that seed, Brother Guna, is with us to share his experience, to also take you down this memory lane. Expect to hear and see some nostalgic moments too. And another reason for this day being special is, as you all know, it's the day when Swami went from form to formless. It was devastating when we first heard it 10 years ago. I remember the day very vividly. Our Bandar Klang Center had organized a Walk for Value event, which ended at the car park at Giant in Klang. And after conducting the normal speeches and distribution of food packs, t-shirts, we were just sitting around and discussing Swami's health and how he will snap out of it like he always does. That's when someone informed us that Swami had actually attained Samadhi. And when we heard that, our exuberant mood suddenly disappeared. There was disbelief and a sense of denial. And we said, no, it cannot be, until some other people also came and confirmed the news. And we suddenly felt like a lost flock of sheep, not knowing what to do or where to go. Then the organizing team and others decided to congregate and meet at the center to offer our prayers. All of us went to the center, and the mood in the center was gloomy and was really a very heart-wrenching moment. I can still remember that thing so vividly. But looking back, I'm happy that our center had actually given a grand send-off befitting Swami's ideals on that day. The Walk for Value event was to bring awareness about the environment, and we did just that. That too, we did it with nearly 6,000 participants, the highest so far. Imagine 6,000 people walking and to send Swami away. And we brought people of all races and religion together with only go green in their mind. I will fall short if I do not mention that Brother Ravin, one of our ex-chairmen, was the driving force of this event. Anyway, my time is actually up. I shouldn't be taking too much of time. But if you're wondering why there are no Swami's quotes and messages like I normally do, well, I was thinking, what more can I say when our first Talaiva is already here and is going to address us shortly? So he will definitely make up for whatever I've left. Coming back to this program, our youth and spiritual wing are the main movers, and they have worked very hard to make sure all of you will be mesmerized. I would also like to thank the Bhajan team for this morning's program. The bhajans were divine, and the altar decorations were superb by the two ladies, Sister Shanti and Sister Veni, and of course our technical hero there, Sarwin. Thank all of them for a wonderful morning program. So please stay with us till the end of the show. And Swami, please bless us with your grace. Sairam, and thank you. Back to you, Harvey.
Thank you, Uncle, for the wonderful opening. I think you have really brought us back in time to 2011, all the emotions that were going through our minds, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle. So Uncle really spoke about planting the seed, right? So when we're talking about planting the seed, allow me to introduce our special guest of honor for today, Brother Guna, all the way from New Zealand. For those who didn't know, Brother Guna was one of the founders of our center. So Uncle said, right, the person who planted the first seed is Uncle Guna. So it's really a great pleasure to have him here with us today. And Uncle Guna has been a key instrument in the center's early days, right, when it was still establishing its roots. And even today, he's continuing his service in the Hamilton Sai Center through his various office bearer roles at the center, regional, as well as the national level. So enough of me talking. Without further ado, let us put our hands together to invite Brother Guna to share his keynote address on the title, My Journey with Sai. Welcome, Uncle Sairam.
Sairam, dear Brother Arvind, thank you so much for your kind words. Just one small qualification. The seed is actually Bhagavan. We are only the, what you call, the instruments to let the seed sprout. So with that, I'd like to offer my most loving pranams to Bhagavan and to my loving Sai family at Bandar Klang. This is indeed a very, very nostalgic moment for me. I must tell you from my heart. I'm very, very grateful to Bhagavan for gracing me this opportunity to share my reflections in my journey with Sai with all of you. And I trust that some of you who are watching this live are those seniors who were with me in the early days. And finally, one last thing, it is Bhagavan who prompts me, and it is Bhagavan who listens through every one of you. With that, dear sisters, I need to certify that I am the same Guna. My name has not changed, but my form has, as you can see from the screen. So some of you may not recognize me, but trust me, I am the Guna. I've lost some hair just like Brother Rama. Thank you. At the outset, I think I would like to sincerely pay tribute to my beloved Sai brothers and sisters of the early 90s era, without whom the center would not have blossomed and I would not have grown in my spiritual growth. I often quoted this, and I say this once again. If one's intentions are noble and the motive is pure, then the Lord's grace will prevail and see us through. I'm very indeed indebted to our late brother Nathan, Mahendran, Vijay, and Rama. I very fondly call them my Pandava brothers. They were the early instruments who were very, very instrumental in what we are today here. The five of us started with a mere 100 ringgit. And then we witnessed Swami's unseen hand at play. Next came Brother Nara or Brother Shiva, Sister Subhama's husband, Customs Guna, Auntie and late Uncle Balasingam, who actually sacrificed their family home and their privacy to make their home the first Sai center in Klang. Not only that, then Swami sent in waves all his instruments as prasad. Moni and Mona, if some of you can recall, the first tabla sisters, Sister Balbir, Priya and Geeta from Banting, who came over to Klang and joined us. Uncle Eason, Auntie Eason and Sujata for harmonium. Uncle and Auntie Sundram, who came from East Malaysia, who came over and helped us in our bhajans, as well as took the lead in the EHV. Subsequently, that was to follow. Sister Ambiga, Sister Pavala, Sister Parames, Brother Murthy, Dr. Rajesh, and many more. And there were blessings from three motherly figures, the late aunties Leela, Shiva, and Devi. I owe them a lot because their motherly presence and blessings meant a lot for all of us. Other than that, then later came the next wave of brothers and sisters, Sister Sudha, Brother Ravin, Rajan, and time constraint doesn't permit me to acknowledge many more, So I make a humble plea here, my dear sisters, and probably you all are doing it, to go and visit Auntie Balasingam and express our gratitude for all the sacrifice she and her husband and the family made. She is now in a rest home. True, she may not recognize us, but the Swami in her will acknowledge our gratitude. I paid her a visit each time I go back to Malaysia, and I trust all of you are doing the same. Now to the theme, my journey with Sai, from the form to the formless. I need to mention this. I pay obeisance to my first guru to show my path to Sai. It's none other than my dear brother Jagdizan, or we fondly call him as Anna, who lit the spark of Sai in my heart. I started with Bangsa Center bhajans, going for the regional sadhana camps, and the Hinduism talks that was conducted by Brother Jaga. He once said in one of the sessions, for those of you who have benefited, please take it and share it with others. That one humble request from Anna inspired me, and thus started my series of talks in a very humble beginnings in Shah Alam with all the government servants who were Hindus. And then, with the help of my Pandava brothers, we moved on to the Murugan temple in Tolopalai Klang, which brought in a lot of people for attendance every Friday. From the talks that we had for almost half a year, then we dared to start a Sai Bhajan Center. And that, I must say, in the early days, the focus was engaged in devotional singing through bhajans, because that kind of attracted a lot of devotees, because we were able to sing in the local language, the Tamil language. Most of them were Brother Jaga's songs, which actually touched people's heart, And people came in numbers to the center. Next, we started hospital visits as part of our Seva initiative. And soon after that, with Uncle Sundram and Auntie Sundram who were there, and some of the sisters, together with, and I think Auntie Balasingam, Sister Ambiga, Sister Parames, and Dr. Rajesh, I believe, we all initiated the first, what you call EHV classes for the children and parents. And with that, soon after that came Brother Balindran returned from UK. And with his return, and we started this new teen youth program to address the critical phase of the youth. And I must say, within 2 years of the formation of the center, we were just a bhajan group, but we quickly upgraded into a center. What we did was we organized the first ever public symposium on human values. and Dewan Hamza, and that brought in an audience of over 1,000 people. And soon after that, we embarked on what we call the Social Action Initiative, Relief and Mercy programs. There was 2 phases of that. And Bandar Klang was very actively involved. I remember many of the brothers then and many sisters who came out in full force. We reached out to the society of the poor, the sick, and the destitute. And what we did was we offered them in terms of building their homes, repairing their homes, clothing, wheelchairs. There were a series of things that we did. We reached out to the hearts of devotees and worshippers in temples through temple bhajans, which was very well received. Now, many of the temples invited us. The center literally grew from strength to strength. And it only grew on two pillars. One, the enthusiasm and the passion of the devotees, and the grace of the Lord. And Swami's divine presence was always there to bless us in all our initiatives. Swami then subsequently entrusted me with some regional and national roles under the Sathya Sai Central Council of Malaysia until 2004. And with Swami's grace, we migrated to New Zealand. And I went through the whole Sai cycle again as an ordinary devotee, center coordinator, then became a center chairperson in Hamilton. And that's where I actually shared my learnings and my body experience that I gained in Malaysia to further uplift the center in Hamilton. And I was involved. Swami subsequently entrusted me with positions in the regional capacity as well as national positions until recently. In 2011, we planned to a NZ Yatra to Shanti in July. However, by then, Swami has left his mortal coil. But that did not deter us from or slow us down in our commitment to the organization and to the legacy that Bhagavan has left behind. Now, Swami, when we were blessed with the Christmas decoration and celebration on 2 occasions, one was in the year 2012 and the other was in 2018, recently. Dear brothers and sisters, other than that, I just want to highlight a few pointers that I have here. So what are our learnings in all these roles and responsibilities? And I believe all of you are in the positions. We have assumed many roles. We have done incredible service and fulfilled Swami's mission in our best capacity. So what are our learnings? Essentially, it has to begin with some of the Avadaric declarations Swami has made. At this juncture, I will invite Brother Arvind to just share some of the slides that I passed on earlier. Just give me a minute. I would like you to look at that. This is some of the declarations Swami made, and that kind of defined his purpose. Number one, I have a task to, and most of you have seen this or must come across this many a time. And I just want to reiterate this and what's my perspective on it. His purpose and his mission. He said, I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure all of them live lives full of ananda, joy or bliss. Then he said, I have a vow to lead all who stray away from the dharmic path into goodness and save them. Dear brothers and sisters, in English, it is very sad that the bhava of what Swami said in Telugu is not there. So for my brothers and sisters who know Telugu, you know, the way Swami said in Telugu is so beautiful in his heart rendering. He said, Chai pattinathu kakapatanu. He literally said, I will hold them by the hand and bring them and save them. Such a beautiful way that Swami put it. Then the third thing that Swami said, I'm attached to a work that I love, to remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them what they lack. Now, Swami has often said that you and I are one, but we often fail to kind of acknowledge or admit or agree to that. We find that it's too grand to accept that I and God are one. So in my humble belief, I think Swami in his own way, in his own divine plan, implanted the DNA blueprint of these 3 declarations in each of us that he has selected to himself, to be part of his mission. And this is how I see it. The first task, foster all mankind and ensure lives of ananda, joy. Dear sisters, today, in 125 countries, his devotees in the world over are doing just that. How? Through bhajans, through global prayer initiatives, global Akhanda bhajans, we bring bliss and joy to thousands of people who are soaked in the nectarine bhajans and chants. Through every act of loving service that we devotees render to the society, to the community, we bring joys to the hearts of many. Dear sisters, what Swami declared as a task, we are now carrying the legacy forward. Number two, vow to lead all who stray away from the straight path again to goodness. Here Swami started the Balvikas program. And I must say at this junction, I raise my hand and I want all those, the rest of us also raise our hand in salutations to the wonderful gurus who sacrifice almost every weekend to foster values in children and parents, and thus saving them from going astray. And this, I think, like Bandar Klang and many centers in Malaysia and elsewhere, have had achieved a tremendous success in how we have nurtured children in values. And also not only that, to all us devotees who inspire to live up to Swami's ideals. When we live up to Swami's ideals, we will undoubtedly inspire, motivate all those people who come in contact with us. And by seeing us, by seeing our character, seeing our personality, seeing our behavior, there will be at least some who will bound to change by our mere presence. And that is what Swami says, let my darshan flow through you to them. Then the third one, a work that I love, to remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them what they lack. Dear sisters, I ask this question over and over again. What is it that drives every dedicated devotee to plunge into Sai service week after week, month after month, against all odds? I've witnessed many brothers at their own discomfort. They go reach out to the most remote places and offer their loving service in a most selfless manner. Dear sisters, if this is not the work that Swami loves, I don't know what is. I believe in Bandar Klang and as well as many other centers in Malaysia and in the world bear witness to this selfless seva globally. This can only happen because of Swami's immense love and compassion. That is the only driving force for every devotee throughout the world. Dear sisters, when one dedicates every task with love and total surrender, then one can see Swami's hand in it. And what about Swami's mission? Brother Arvind, can I have the slide 3, please, if you don't mind? Here, brother, I'm just capturing in a nutshell the 6 major social projects that Swami undertook. In the 50s, Swami started the ashram. And for 60 years, he showed the world what an ideal ashram should be like. And in the 1960s, Swami started the Sathya Sai Seva organization, which for 50 years he showed what a service organization should be like. And in the 70s, Swami started the Central Trust, Sathya Sai Central Trust. And for the next 40 years, he showed the world how an ideal trust should be run on ethics and morals. And in the 70s, in the 80s, Swami set up the university. And for 30 years, he showed the world how a value-based university should be run with excellent principles, excellent qualifications, excellent results, excellence in every aspect of person, with graduates coming out as a holistic person, both in the academics and in the spiritual domain. And then in the 90s, what did Swami do then? Swami contributed, he set up the super specialist hospital. And for 20 years, he showed the world how a charity hospital should be run. And I dare say here today, there's no other hospital that can match up to the level that the 2 specialist hospitals have achieved. Dear sisters, up to now, they have conducted over 2.5 million, I believe, 2.5 million outpatient treatments, 500,000 surgeries that has benefited in cash a total of $2.5 billion. In 1995, the Sathya Sai Center Trust launched a massive water project and executed in a record 18 months. That's not all. In 2002, a few years later, within a few years, Swami completed this Chennai water project. So I make a humble plea to all of us now to revisit that one clarion call made by Bhagavan. And for this, I asked Brother Arvind kindly show the next slide. This was the kind of message the Swami gave to, I think, Charles Penn way back in 1979. And here he said, and I want to highlight a few things, differences. I'm sure you can see the slide. Your mission has begun. And Swami says this, these are my words to you. And then I emphasize this. My devotees, he identifies each of us who have come forward, have heard the clarion call and came to him. My devotees, each one of you have a unique and valuable role to play. In this lifetime, only those whom I've called can serve me. Dear sisters, there are 7.86 billion people in the world today. And how many of us are Sai devotees? Not only Sai devotees, how many of us are active Sai devotees? To be part of this, it must be Swami's grace that has drawn us to him. And he's telling us we have an important role to play. My mission has reached a point at a time when each of you now have work to do. Dear sisters, Swami is identifying us now. What a grand role we have in this whole universe to be part of his mission. And he says, I call upon you to radiate the bhakti, the devotion within you. And that we do every Thursday or every week when we have devotional singing of bhajans. We actually nurture that for the Baba of bhajans that radiates to not only the devotees within the vicinity, but the whole locality. And then Swami says this, no, please remain centered on me always. Why? Swami must be the center of life. Everything else must revolve around him. And then you will see his glory unfold. And then he ends up saying that you are my instruments from whom my love will pour. Dear sisters, he has that expectation. He is calling us his instruments. We must hit to that. This opportunity will never come again in the next life. There's no guarantee. But being devoted to Swami does not mean one is protected from trials and tribulations. Recall the goal that has to be put in the crucible of fire to become an ornament of beauty. Our Swami is only seeking one thing, that element of transformation, the sole expression of that divine love inherent within each of us. That love is his property, and he has planted that in us, and he expects that love to manifest. In all engagement, in all our sadhana activities, we must be vigilant that we are making that incremental change by internalizing Swami's teachings and practicing in daily lives. Knowing one thing, but being aware and practicing is another thing that is this. In this context, I must applaud Bandar Klang Center for some of the great sadhana plans in recent times I've come across through communication with Sister Anjula and Brother Mohan. Each of us must strive to be exemplary to inspire others. That's what Swami wants, so that his darshan can flow through us to others. How? We are all blessed with talents and expertise in our own special ways. Let's use that to the maximum towards Swami's legacy. Today, I sincerely attempt to connect to Swami, who always was and will be the resident in our hearts. It is our past merits, my dear sisters, and the blessings of our ancestors that we are drawn into the Avadaric mission. In this lifetime, we are fortunate to be invited by Bhagavan to be part of this holy mission. Let us never, ever miss this opportunity. Whether we are 7 years old or 70 years old, we have a role till our last breath. And that we must have that conviction that Swami has a purpose for us to be drawn in this lifetime, in his presence. So with that, we can express, see, we were separated from Bhagavan so that we can express our love to Swami. Now he is waiting for us to merge with him in his all-encompassing love. Dear sisters, so what is the next thing? He has often said this, even the tiniest work that you offer is a flower placed at the feet of God. Two statements, dear sisters, that has seared my heart, that is entrenched in my heart. And I read this to you. Brother Arvind, can you please show slide 5? Thank you, brother. The totality of divine energy. And this is Swami has written in the book, My Baba and I, to Dr. John Hislop, page 170. You can check it out. The totality of divine energy has come as Sathya Sai Baba into humanity to wake up the slumbering divinity inherent in every human being. I will not forsake you. Swami says this twice. I will not forsake you. I've come to help, to accompany and to carry you. I can never forsake you. I will never fail in my duty to my children. Look at the grand promises Swami makes now. And then he says this, the most touching part of this statement. But I shall be very grateful to each child of mine who helps me in my task. Dear sisters, what else do we need? Here is a plea from Bhagavan asking us, can we help him in his task? And then Swami has also said this, and I've shared this on many platforms. Swami has said, you're one arm of the scissors and I am the other arm. Let's together cut the cloth of Dharma Samstapana. This again, my dear sisters, is a divine plea from our beloved Swami. Our learning will never stop as long as we breathe. But time has become short for some of us, for the seniors. So we must make use of the legacy that Swami has left behind. All his teachings, all his discourses, the Vahini series, the Sai Media Network, to get our inspiration and to walk the path that Swami has laid for us. And at this point in time, I just want to make mention of how proud we seniors are to know, at least for myself, at least I know there are many others, but one Balvika's child, which I knew as a very tender young girl, who has blossomed into a dynamic youth and now a pillar in the center, along with her husband and family. And that is none other than my dear Anjula. And I thank Sister Ambika and Anjula's parents for blessing us with such a child, then and now a mother, and a beacon of Swami's light in her own right in Bandar Klang. There are many others, I believe, who have committed now to the cause of and the mission of Sai. And to those people, the children then and now adults, I only raise my hand in salutation to the parents who had the faith and the conviction that the children will get into the path of Sai. So, finally, where am I in my journey with Sai right now at this point of time? All I can say is I'm right now in this virtual presence of my most loving Sai family of Bandar Klang, 9,000 kilometers away. But then in Swami's, what we call orbit of love, time and distance becomes very, very relative and significant. Only prema matters. It is that prema bandham that has connected me with all of you. And when I just saw earlier some of the photographs, it was very, very nostalgic. It really moved me to tears to see some of those early photos when we were involved. And I know, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, how emotional and humbling this beautiful occasion is for me and Jyoti to be reconnected with all of you after 29 years and 4 days. What an incredible Sai journey to where it all began in 1992, April 20th. Bhagavan, Swami, I thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Only you made this possible. And I thank once again the committee, Sai committee of Bandar Klang, and to all my Sai family in Klang for giving me this beautiful opportunity to just reflect and share some of my thoughts with all of you. Thank you, Sairam. I do not know whether I've exceeded the time. I'm sure, brother, brother, if I've exceeded, my sincere apologies. But if I've not exceeded, then I'm happy to take if there's any questions at all.
Yes, Uncle, thank you. We will just allow for maybe one question because we are right on time actually.
Perfect.
We'll just allow for one question. Yeah. If anybody has any questions, you can type in the chat box and then we can, forward it to Uncle Guna. Yeah, any questions?
Two things. Either they have understood everything or they understood nothing.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Okay, right. So we don't have any questions at the moment. So if
Yeah.
you have any questions, you can still type in the chat box. We will try to address it as soon as we can. Okay. Right. Thank you, Uncle, so much for your sharing and thoughts. I think it was really very refreshing to hear such early days accounts. Most of us
Yeah.
don't know about those days. So very nice to hear you talking about it. And I really like what you said. What Swami said. Only those who I have called can serve me, right? Swami always says, I don't choose people who are qualified to do my work. Those who I choose become qualified.
Qualified.
Yeah. So it's very
Absolutely.
interesting thought, Uncle. Thank you so much, Uncle.
Thank
And
you
I
so
think
much, brother.
Uncle has also covered. I just given like a bit of a teaser for the next part of our program. So for the next part of our program, we have a very special video documentary traversing the years to the back to the early days of the center, to the beginning days of the center. Let us now take a trip down the memory lane to learn more about our center's history through the journey of a seed into a forest, presenting to all a documentary titled The Seed.
Sairam, my name is Sachi.
Sairam, my name is Lakshman. I'm 26 this year.
Sairam, my name is Lishan, and actually I've been with the Sai Center for 28 years since birth. What I can remember is all the annes and akkas, all the dramas that we've done. My earliest memory of center, I heard of Malawi Center, but I don't really know anything about that center. My first memory of center was in our current center.
So, what I can remember for the beginnings of Bandar Klang was the whole uniqueness of being a center with a house, which was in Taman Malawis.
Well, to my information, earlier our center was in Malawis. After that, I've been here only from 2014 till now. So I know about the new center only, nothing much about the old center.
The story of a vast, majestic forest always begins with a single seed, a single tree. This is the story of that seed. This is the story of how it all started.
Sairam, dear viewers, I'm Anjula from Sathya Sai Baba Center of Bandar Klang. Today, we have a special guest with us who has been pretty long with the center, probably since I was 9 years old. This person has been with the center for many different reasons. And do you want to meet this person? Now let's see who we have with us today. Sister Ambika, can you introduce yourself and let all of us know more about yourself and the center?
Sairam, I am Ambika Devi. I'm from Jalan Melawit and have been with the center for the past 29 years.
Hi, I'm Murthy. I'm already 53 years old now, and I've been in the center since I was 24 years old. So it is almost 29 years. 29 years I've been in the center.
I'm Sudha. I'm 62, going to be 62. I'm with the center for, when it started is 1992. From there onwards I'm there. Not as a member first, but every week without fail I attend the bhajans and activities and all that. So from there I'm here. So that means 29 years.
Hi, my name is Prem. I've been with the center. I came to the center on and off. I used to come to center, not center actually, a bhajan unit. That when she used to come there, and I actually joined Bandar Klang in 1994 when it became a center.
You can call me as Sugula, so Sugumaran actually. So you can call me as Sugu, and of course Pushpas, yeah.
35 years.
Yeah, around 30, 33.
So I was in search. Same after that in 1988 we got married. He was also in search, of a particular. So we used to go to temples and all. So that's how we met Brother Nathan in Zurvan temple, and he said we are going to start Hinduism classes and all that. Oh, we were so excited, elated. Yeah, and Brother Guna was just absolutely fantastic.
1992, April. Before that, Brother Guna was telling that he's going to open up a bhajan unit in Malawi. Initially, I was not a Baba devotee. I was a temple goer. So I did not go for the opening on the 20th of April 1992. Then suddenly in June, I went for a walk and then I came back and told my mother, Mama, I think I want to go to the center and see what is happening there. So in June I went. I put my foot there, first foot in the Malawi center. And I don't know, I couldn't just leave the center after that.
92 Prema wouldn't know much.
92 I don't know much because I came only in 94. But as I joined it, and all the people there are all youths, you know. In fact, when I will talk more on the committee side because I was more involved in committee side. So I mean the committee members and all were all youths. The youngest was Brother Murthy. He's I think 19 or 20 I think. And he was a service coordinator. Youngest, and we all of us don't have any experience of running centers or whatever, nothing. All like zero. Except maybe Brother Guna, who was the one who started the bhajan unit and the center, and also Brother Nathan. Maybe these two people they might know, but all of us are very young, very fresh, very active. Just go out, do anything, whatever they can do, they will do.
So actually the founding members was Brother Guna, Brother Nathan, Brother Vijay, Brother Mahindran and Brother Rama. They were there. That's why they were called as 5 Pandavas.
And we did activities, and we had a lot of talks. Brother Guna used to give a lot of talks, satsang talks, Hinduism talks, and many things that attracted a lot of people from all over, other side from Malawi and all that coming out. And we have a very good crowd.
We were merging with the Bangsa Center sometimes to go to what you call this Kolagubu Baru and Sumabulu and all this. So we will actually we will be gathering our what you call our center people who volunteer to go there.
One event which I can remember today is Deepavali Joy that I can never forget. When it comes to Deepavali, we all will go to Fairy Island and we'll all collect the old clothes, but good clothes, and we'll take there and food and all that. We will distribute to the children there. We have games and we have a lot of fun.
What was very interesting to me was the activities in the center where we all jointly do, and that was fun. And then the group of the clique, the group of people in the center, all were working together without looking at this is youth wing, this is service wing. It was not like that. Everybody worked together. So that what I would say the bond like a family, you know. I have seen that there.
Center Council found out that we got very good support from the devotees and all that.
Yeah.
And Brother Guna, you know, wherever he go, he attracts people with his talk. So a lot of people are coming. Weekly bhajan is going on very good. So I think that's why maybe the Center Council agreed to make it our center bhajan unit to be a center.
In fact, we were quite fast from bhajan unit to be a center. I think around 2 years time we got it, the status. And we all were very happy, but that's where the work started. And we've been always looked by the Bangsa, and we've been given a lot of work. That's where our wings opened up.
Okay, one of the main reasons for a bhajan unit is you can't park your account under your center name. You can have only one coordinator. You don't have a committee. The committee is only for working. As long as the ROS, Register of Society, is concerned, you are nobody. Unit is nobody because our account is parked in the bank. So whatever donation money we receive, we have to send it to that account. And when we need to do any activity, we have to ask from them. They have to release the money. Although it's our money, but it's parked under them. So when we got the center status, to become a center, you need to have 9 members, 9 wing coordinators, 5 plus additional 4.
I have a memory, a photo in my brain cells. I probably need to find a hard copy of the photo of Uncle yourself and myself acting on the stage in the Murugan temple, where you acted as a dwarf and I was a witch. That photograph still strikes a memory. How was it possible at that age, with, of course there was no electronics and all at that time for us to do any kind of, tricks and for the audience, but we managed to get a screen and you were there using your hands becoming the legs and it was like the Apurva Sadhodaraga, the Kamal in action.
The person who was behind that, all these things were, I shouldn't forget, this idea was given by Uncle Sundaram. Uncle Sundaram was the person who gave this idea. Of course, you can see the dwarf, only my face was there. It's somebody's hand, it's somebody's leg. All that were, behind the screen. But when you see the picture, the image will look like a dwarf.
I have one memory that, one dance photograph where Andi Balasingham, Andi Ishan, Andi Devi Nayak. We are missing all these people nowadays. Auntie Siva, myself, and a few of us did Auntie Siva, Kolatam. That photograph, I don't know now we have or not with us.
It's all in the center. I think there is one more picture which I have taken. It's all the guys now. It's Brother Rajan, Brother Ravin, myself, and I don't know who. And what they did is that we acted in a scene. We acted like all ladies.
I know that. This is for Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, we acted. We wear sari. Even the guys, they shaved out the moustache. just to act like a lady, they shaved out moustache.
But Krishna didn't shave, so he was
Ravin
didn't shave, so he was covering like
covered
this.
like that,
So Premanol shaved the moustache.
We shaved. Myself, Raju, all shaved our moustache. And then we kept it so nice.
In the old center, Malawi center, or the spiritual one, we used to have Navaratri. So what happened was that one of my friends gave me all the statues, and she said because she was having kolu, now she doesn't want to have the kolu, so she gave it to me, and I thought, okay, why not we have it? And I talked to Sister Pavala, who was then ladies coordinator, and Brother Nathan and all that, and they agreed, okay, if you lady can do it. So few of us, Sister Pavala, myself, Sister Dolly, and Brother Supaya. He's the one who did the steps for us, the kolu step, and Sister Dolly also used to come, and what we do the first time we want to have the kolu, we call Sister Nalini, who's a Brahmin lady, and Sister Vijay, how to do the kumbam and all that. So we had a very grand celebration there among the ladies. We put the Navadhaniyam and all that, and we will have the kolu, and we will sing the songs, bhajans, and we chant the Namavalis and all. Ever since the Navaratri started in the center, I stopped going to temples because 9 days we will be having prayers and all that. So I said I might as well go to the center and make myself more happy there, and I'm participating in it.
Okay, the picture that you showed me just now, that picture was is where when we started the center in 1992. It was our first Christmas in 1993. We observed in the center. So the committee said we have to do some decoration in the center. It was an old center in Malawi. So we don't have enough space to do. There's no special place to do it. So with that small place, me and Brother Vijay and few others managed to do like a hut, using the polystyrene. And then we also got a small tree, Christmas tree, and then we did some other decoration which was not in the picture. But then since we both were the one who sat and did the decoration, so we took a picture of that. Okay, we did have space constraint when we were in Uncle Balisingham's house, because it is a home where they're living in, and we can't have activities that often. We can tell them, okay, we need to use this for classes, we need to do meeting and all that. So we had this space constraint and privacy. We can't have a committee meeting in their house when they are there and they are not in the committee. So we had budget practices and all that. We had some difficulty because we have to every time tell them we are coming at this hour. They have to get the house ready for her. They can't even watch the TV and all that. So we were thinking to move.
The reason why we moved from Malawi to the new center, the present center, is because auntie and uncle, they are also getting old. So every activity is done there. Practices are done there. So they have no rest, they have to wait for us to go and all that. If we have our own center, they're already old, and we don't have to depend on anyone, or we're not stopping them from sleeping or what. So that's for me, I feel that if we have the own center is better. Auntie and uncle, they are very generous to let us stay in their home for 11 years. From 1992 to 2003, we were there with auntie. Only 2003 we have shifted to Sungai Jati, isn't it? So we should be very grateful. If they didn't give us their home, we wouldn't have a center, Bandar Klang Center.
The underlying fact, again, I would say, is love and unity. This is what keeps the center growing. So if you don't have love, you don't even welcome people coming to the center. You will see them only once. After that, you don't see them. So when somebody new comes to center, you have to welcome them with full loving. This was done in early days by Uncle and Auntie Sundar. Anybody new come, they go and hug them, they welcome them. So they feel it's like a family to stay with.
And also we used to have free tuitions that used to run every night. And we had good number of children who used to come, and a lot of dedicated gurus. And also our center has still continuing with yoga classes, and we have number of people that every year it's growing. Besides the other normal activities that we have at the center, the community center beside our number 7, number 9, we also have a medical clinic, and this is definitely thanks to Dr. Murali, our late Dr. Murali, the brainer behind having who would ever think to have a small portion in a shop lot, a small clinic with all specialist doctors to benefit the community around.
So when these kind of things you all are organizing, this kind of gatherings bring the potential out, and you become a better person. That's what we are looking for. Look at all these gems. How did you come out? Because someone was there to push you. But remember always, Swami is giving you an opportunity. Is whether you are using it or not, whether you are taking it or not.
The value, I would still say the value is love. You have to imbibe that through our teachings and all. Swami has spoken a lot about love, not for any reason. So love. But the youngsters nowadays think whatever they have done is they did it. They always think I did it. But they didn't know who is the force behind is their parents, and the force behind their parents is Swami or whoever the spiritual person who they believed in. That force, the Brahman, is the main force to run. The youngsters, they don't look. When I was young, I never thought about that. why Swami kept me in the center with activities. At certain age only, I realized I'm stick to the center, although all those people who work with me are no more with me. But I am in the center. As I said, the first group, the clique that I had, nobody is around. Yeah, you're sure, Feli. They are not there. But I am stuck in the center. Why? Swami has prepared me through all that. And Swami sometimes puts certain people to work only for some years. Swami knows these people may not sustain, but Swami needs them, their help at that moment. They will leave the center with their family. They won't even come to center. We don't even see them, but they are around. They are around. We see them in Pasar Malam, we see them in shopping, we do see them. But they won't come to the center. But at that time, why they are active? It's Swami's work. He needs all these people to set the foundation, and the rest of the people will continue to take over.
To sprout out.
To sprout out and continue the activity.
We must have the love. First and foremost, the love and understanding. Understanding, that means we must understand another person's feeling. And we have to be give and take attitude. Then we will definitely grow bigger and bigger than the alamara.
Busy குட்டி இது நான் இப்ப என்ன பண்றீங்க குட்டி நீ பாரு
Sairam, welcome back. Hope all of you enjoyed the little time machine trip back in time. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the entire crew that worked tirelessly over the days without sleep, and of course the devotees who have shared their time and thoughts with us. And of course, not forgetting the entire team that helped digitize all the amazing photos that we shared in the beginning, and even in the video also you can see somewhere in the middle we shared a few pictures as well, right? So thank you to the entire team. And I would also like to acknowledge that we are having a lot of wonderful messages and thoughts, in the chat box. And yeah, most of them mentioned, they acknowledge Uncle Guna and Auntie Jodi for all the wonderful times that they spent together. So very interesting to see. Thank you, Uncle Guna. Thank you, Auntie. Okay, right. Okay, so also would like to say that we have about 39 participants, mostly families in the Zoom meeting right now. And also we have about 24 people watching on YouTube. So we should have at least 80 people connected online right now. Okay, so with that, it brings us to the last key highlight of today's program, which is a special musical journey depicting Swami's life over the years and beyond through the 9 phases of his life and message. This musical performance is a unique combination of live narration and 9 amazing gems of a musical performances. With that, let us put our hands together to welcome the Bhajan team of SSBC Bandar Klang with a musical journey titled His Life is His Message.
Our humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Loving Sairam to all of you who have joined us today. On this special occasion of Swami's Mahasamadhi, we from the Bhajan team embark on this musical journey to present the life of our Lord in the form of a string of bhajans and songs to commemorate selected important phases in Swami's life. We would like to thank the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center and the Prashanti Mandir Bhajan group for inspiring us in coming up with the music for this offering. Sister Anushka and myself are indeed blessed to be given this opportunity to take you with us on this musical journey entitled His Life is His Message. So let us soak ourselves in the beautiful stories from his life through Namasmarana. It is no surprise that this journey begins with the advent of our Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Swami's birth was nothing less than extraordinary, as he was conceived through the divine will when a blue light entered Mother Ishwaramma's body. As the famous words go, Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. There is no better way to start this journey than to glorify the Divine Mother. Mother Ishwaramma. No amount of words will ever suffice to explain how grateful we are, O Mother, for blessing us and the entire creation with our beautiful Lord, little Satyam, our Swami. With that, we present to you a heart-touching poem to express our gratitude to Mother Ishwaramma.
कृतलोन अदिति तनयुनितो ये पाटी तन्मयत्वमुंदेनो తెలియదాయే త్రేతలోన కౌసల్య పదునాలుగు వత్సరాలు రాముని యదబాసి పరితపించెనోయే ద్వాపరమున దేవకి కృష్ణునికి జన్మనిచ్చిన తల్లిగానే మిగిలిపోయే కలిలో షిరిడి సాయిని కానల పాలు చేసి తరలిపోయే మరి నువ్వో ఈశ్వరమ్మ సత్య సాయికి జన్మనిచ్చి జగతికి దేవదేవునందించి నీ కంటి పాపలో చంటి పాపగా ఆరాధించితివి ఆ ఘన కీర్తి నీకుగాక ఇంకెవరికి దక్కునమ్మా ఈశ్వరమ్మా దేవుడమ్మా रत्नाकरवंशपु राजमाता रत्नाकरवंशपु राजमाता
When he was about 10 years of age, little Satyam formed a Pandari Bhajan group in the village of Puttaparthi. The group consisted of about 16 to 18 boys dressed uniformly in brownish-orange clothes, each holding a flag in their hands and wearing anklets. They danced to the tune of folk songs praising Lord Panduranga. They would wake up early and go around and sing. But more often than not, they were usually ignored. But then, there was once a cholera outbreak in the region. All the villages were affected, but the few villages where Satyam went with the Pandari Bhajan group, those villages did not get cholera. Therefore, the Pandari Bhajan group's fame began to spread. In fact, it was said that if you want vaccination, you should call the Pandari Bhajan group. Something we can try ourselves today during this COVID pandemic. And that is how the name and fame of Satyam's Pandari Bhajan group spread. Let us now relive those moments of the Pandari Bhajan group and lose ourselves singing the glory of Lord Panduranga to create a divine atmosphere around us.
श्रीरंगा हरे विठला साई रंगा हरे विठला श्रीरंगा हरे विठला साई रंगा हरे विठला हे दयानिधे विठला हे कृपानिधे विठला हे दयानिधे विठला हे कृपानिधे विठला हे साई प्रभो विठला सत्य साई प्रभो विठला हे साई प्रभो विठला सत्य साई प्रभो विठला श्रीरंगा श्रीरंगा रंग रंग श्रीरंगा 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 कावेरी तटवास कस्तूरी रंगा कावेरी तटवास कस्तूरी रंगा कारुण्य लावण्य करुणातरंगा कारुण्य लावण्य करुणातरंगा जय पांडुरंगा जय साई रंगा 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठले हरि नारायण पांडुरंग विठ्ठले हरि नारायण पुरंदर विठ्ठले हरि नारायण पुरंदर विठ्ठले हरि नारायण हरि नारायण भजो नारायण हरि नारायण भजो नारायण साई नारायण सत्य नारायण साई नारायण सत्य नारायण विठ्ठल विठ्ठल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग विठ्ठल 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 परतिरंग विठ्ठल 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 परतिरंग विठ्ठल 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 साई रंग 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 विठ्ठल 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 पांडुरंग 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 विठ्ठल
Moving on into the teenage years of Swami's life, on the 20th of October 1940, Satyam went to school as usual. However, within a few minutes, he returned to the house and he cast his books aside and he called out, "I am no longer your Sathya. I am Sai. I am going. I don't belong to you. Maya has gone. My bhaktas are calling me. I have my work. I can't stay here any longer." These were his words. And this came as a shock to his family. And while his family members were afraid that Swami was ill and needed to be cured, Swami went away and sat in a garden on a rock. There were people coming towards him from all directions, bringing flowers, fruits, incense, and camphor to worship him. It was then Swami taught the very first bhajan to his devotees, the historic Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. The garden resonated with the voices of hundreds singing and following the lines of the first prayer that Swami taught them. The first line of this bhajan clearly sets the path for all devotees, even until today. It says, "O mind, meditate on the feet of the Guru that will take you across the ocean of samsara, of worldly existence, and of the cycle of birth and death." With that, the avataric mission of the Lord began, and as Swami says, the descent of God is for the ascent of man. Let us meditate on these words as we sing along to the tune of this momentous bhajan in Swami's life journey.
मानस बजरे गुरु चरणम, मानस बजरे गुरु चरणम, दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम, दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम। गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय, गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय, साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय, साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः। ओम अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिवा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव। ओम नमो बाबा, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव। ओम नमो बाबा, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव। ओम नमो बाबा।
Following on from Swami's declaration of his avatarhood, the high point of the early days of the avatar was unquestionably the evening outings to the Chitravati sands. It was the moment that all devotees eagerly looked forward to, and possibly also the Lord, as this was the time he displayed his leelas. These leelas were performed to attract the devotees during the early days of Swami's avatarhood. As the sun set, approximately 30 of them would make their way to the banks of the Chitravati river. They would go carrying various musical instruments needed for accompaniment during singing, a big carpet to spread on the sand, and a few lanterns. As they made their way, the air would be filled with tremendous excitement. Young Sai would start his place. Each day was a different theme, and there were innumerable variations to the theme. A stone thrown into the air becomes candy. Swami even had his own share of playing hide and seek. As soon as Swami starts walking, devotees would follow and walk behind him like his shadow. Some would grasp his robe, some would hold his hand, while others kept up a conversation. As they walked, Swami would suddenly disappear. They would then go in various directions in search of him, looking in every tree, behind every bush, even in snake pits. Once they become tired, after prolonged searching, they would collapse and call out, "Swami!" He would then suddenly jump out of the bush next to them, shouting, "Boo!" What a wonder it would be for all of them, as they would have searched high and low in those same places, but not found him. Randomly, Swami would pluck leaves from a tamarind tree or some other tree and place them in their hands. To their utter amazement, these leaves would be transformed into a guava or sugar candy. He could barely keep quiet even for a minute.
And that is why he was verily our Leela Nataka Sai, the playful Lord Sai, always up to some tricks and plays with his devotees, as depicted in this next song.
लीला नाटक साई लीला सविनोले लीला नाटक साई लीला सविनोले लीला नाटक साई लीला सविनोले चीला हाटक साई लाल समानस साई 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 लीला सविलोले लीला नाटक साई लीला सविलोले हाला हलदर साई हाला हलदर साई शूली कपाली पाली हाला हलदर साई शूली कपाली पाली लीला सविलोले हाला शालय माई बाला पार्वती पाही हाला शालय माई बाला पार्वती पाही लीला नाटक साई लीला सविलोले
We are all well aware that Swami's life was filled with enormous contributions to humanity, and today we make a humble effort to categorize them into three main pillars. To begin with the first pillar, there is no doubt that Swami loves bhajans beyond measure. From the 1950s right up till today, the one activity that happens in Prashanti Nilayam without fail is the bhajan session consisting of Veda chanting and bhajan singing held twice daily, morning and evening. Such is the importance that Swami places on chanting and singing the name of the Lord. In fact, Swami himself has said, the greatest bonanza of the Kali Yuga to achieve the Lord is through Namasmarana, the chanting of the Lord's name. Such is the power of the name of the Lord. Hence, it is not surprising that one of the three main pillars of Swami's avataric mission is bhajans or Namasmarana. Swami loves all kinds of music, be it bhajans, kirtis, kavalis, or even value songs. For it is not the song that is important, but the meaning behind the songs that are being sung. Having said that, let us contemplate on the importance and the power of bhajans through the next song, which is a song that Swami himself has sung many times during his discourses and sessions with his devotees.
भजन से मन को सजन भला कर, भक्ति मार्ग दिखला दिया। साई भजन से भव सागर को तारन भी सिखला दिया। परति विहारी लीलाधारी साई मुरारी नारायण। नारायण भज नारायण, नारायण भज नारायण, नारायण। नारायण भज नारायण, नारायण भज नारायण, नारायण। नारायण 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 नारायण।
The second main pillar of Swami's life is seva, service. Here I quote Swami, "There is no other quality nobler than love in this world. The highest spiritual practice is to transform this love into service. Serve and help the needy. Swami will be closest to you when you do service and help the needy." His organization itself has the word seva. Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization founded in 1960. He says Grama Seva is Rama Seva. He also says the best way to love God is to love all and serve all. There is no simpler way to emphasize on the greatness of seva than these words of Swami. A short story of a small girl depicts the essence of seva beautifully. Once, the seva workers of the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization reached the outskirts of a remote village with packets of food, medicine, clothes, and blankets. Sadly, when they arrived at the village, it was past noon, and the entire area was submerged. It was still drizzling. The volunteers stood at the gate hoping someone would come forward to show them where the survivors were most in need of their services and goods. Finally, some villagers saw them and came running. The volunteers thought that help had come and they would be directed to where they could be of the most use. But the villagers began snatching and grabbing the rescue items. The volunteers stood there dumbstruck, not knowing whom to pacify and whom to control. Then a girl appeared and pacified the villagers. She told sweetly the necessity of being patient and disciplined and to allow the helping team to carry out their mission. She even enabled the volunteers to reach those with the most urgent needs first, such as first aid, medicine, and food, and helped organize the entire rescue mission. Throughout the day, she led the team through the muddy and flooded roads to every nook and corner where people required help. She never looked tired, and her face was always radiating with gratitude and loving kindness. The Sevadal team finished their work and sat down for some rest. Suddenly, one of the Sevadal team members recollected that while the girl had taken them to all the needy people and helped them distribute food and medicine, she had not taken any food for herself. They asked her why. Hesitatingly, the girl said that her guru had told her that duty towards others should be the prime concern, and when that duty is fulfilled, he himself will take care of their needs. So they inquired about the Guru and also wanted to know how she had met her Guru. The girl said, I have not met or even seen my Guru personally, but I have his photo given to me by my teacher who stays in the nearby town. The people became even more curious and asked her the name of her Guru. Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, came the prompt reply. I am a Balvika student, she said further with a voice soaked in reverence and pride. Every one of the Sevadal members were in tears. Through this next song, let us contemplate on strengthening our bond to build a stream of love with our beloved Sai by serving the poor and the needy.
हर प्राणी में साई, हर प्राणी में बाबा, सब प्रेम करो, सब प्रेम करो, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा। दीन दुखियों से प्रेम करो, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, साई मेरा मैं तेरा, प्रेम की बहती धारा, साई मेरा मैं तेरा, प्रेम की बहती धारा, ये प्रेम की बहती धारा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा।
In most educational institutions, the purpose of education is to gain knowledge, earn a degree, and secure a job. However, in Swami's mission, education is for life and not merely for a living. That brings us to the third pillar of our Lord's avataric mission, education, or better known as educare in Swami's dictionary. The uniqueness of Swami's education system is summarized poignantly in his own words. The end of education is character. Swami's institutes find its roots in the philosophy of educare, realizing what is latent within. And in line with that philosophy is the value-based integral education system. It is a combination of top-class knowledge through world-class equipments for lectures and classes, cultural arts such as music and drama events, sports through various physical activities, service projects such as Grama Seva, spiritual activities such as devotional congregations, satsangs, bhajans, and most importantly, the practice of human values through the hostel life. Such a wholesome education system was only possible due to the grand vision of our Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And the sole purpose of such a system was to produce students who were professionally competent, socially responsible, and spiritually aware, a wholesome and balanced human being. And all this at what cost, we may ask Swami. And as always, he only asks for our love. There is no finance department in any of his institutions. We only pay him through love. Everything is free of cost. With that thought in mind, let us enjoy the next song that summarizes the beauty of his inexhaustible love and greatness.
चारों दिशा में है चाई बहार, दिल में है प्यार, तेरा ही प्यार, साई तेरी महिमा अपार। देखो चारों दिशा में है चाई बहार, दिल में है प्यार, तेरा ही प्यार, साई तेरी महिमा अपार। सत्य साई तेरी महिमा अपार, साई तेरी महिमा अपार। Education is for life, not for a living. Education is for life, not for a living. Savidya ya vimuktaye. Satya Sai Baba, your life is your message. Satya Sai Baba, your life is your message. We shall follow you. Medicare is for life, so let it be free. Water is for life, so let it be free. Medicare is for life, so let it be free. Medicare, Medicare, let them be free. They are for life. चारों दिशा में है चाई बहार, दिल में है प्यार, तेरा ही प्यार, साई तेरी महिमा अपार। ओ सच्चे साई तेरी महिमा अपार, साई तेरी महिमा अपार। सत्य साई बाबा, love is your fall.
And indeed, love is his form. If we are to summarize Swami's life in one word, it is love, the fundamental principle of Swami's messages. Through the thousands of discourses and writings from Swami, if we can take this one message, the message of love, and put it into practice wholeheartedly, we can become better human beings. As Swami says, love as thought is truth. Love as action is right conduct. Love as understanding is peace. And love
as feeling is non-violence. We just need to start by practicing love. The following song can be easily referred to as the resume of Swami. When the Lord is born, it is an opportunity for the love in our hearts to grow. That is why his form is itself love. Every moment of Swami's existence breathes truth, inhaling the truth of oneness, expanding through the nourishment of bliss. His presence, his form grows in our midst. Swami says, "My life is my message." His life itself is the message that he gave us. But it could also mean the other way around. My life is in my message. If we want to live with Swami, if we want to make Swami a part of our life, it is this message that we have to worship, the message of selfless love. As we ponder on this, here is a timeless melody which is as sweet as it is profound.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my life. My life is my message, expansion is my life. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth nor death. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth nor death. Prema Satya Ananda, Dharma Shanti Ahimsa. Prema Satya Ananda, Dharma Shanti Ahimsa. Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Prema Sai, Jai Jai. Shirdi Baba, Sathya Baba, Prema Baba, Jai Jai. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my life. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no death. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Bliss is my food.
And that brings us to the last phase of Swami's life for our musical journey. A very emotional and heart-stirring event. Swami's Mahasamadhi that happened 10 years ago on the 24th of April 2011. It is on this day that we lost the physical form of our beloved Swami. It is celebrated annually and called the Sri Sathya Sai Aradhana Mahotsavam. Strangely, this anniversary of his passing has been termed a Mahotsavam, which translates into great grand festival. Why this irony? Isn't it sprinkling salt on a wound by terming a day of mourning as a day of celebration? What is one expected to do on such a day, and how should one celebrate it? Don't we all miss that physical form of our charming Swami? Until today, our hearts pine for another glimpse of him. To answer this question, let me narrate a beautiful story of a brother who studied in Swami's institution and is a Prashanti Mandir bhajan singer until this very day, Brother Ravi Kumar. The story is related to the Kavali of Brother Ravi's life, Sai Bin Raha Na Jaye, which came into existence in 1988. Swami has requested Brother Ravi to sing this song
on numerous occasions and multiple times throughout his life. Although there are many more technically complex kavalis, this kavali was particularly dear to Swami, and this is for a reason. The lyrics of this kavali was picked from a book written by a professor in Swami's institution, Sri Mishra. Swami's students had picked this couplet and changed a few words for the purpose of the kavali presentation. Originally, the words of the kavali begin with the lines, "Mohabbat ka kabhi dil mein agar ehsaas hota hai," which means, whenever you feel love in your heart, zara jago to paoge ki sai paas hota hai, which translates to mean, look within and you will realize that Sai is the source of that love. However, during the whole process of taking the couplet and making it into a kavali, the words of the first line got changed for some reason. To "Mohabbat ki kami dil mein agar ehsaas hota hai," which means if ever you feel the lack of love in your heart. We all go through this phase in our life where we have instances, we feel a lack of love, we feel lonely, be it at home, work, etc. And the next line comes, "Zara jaako to paoge ki sai paas hota hai." Don't worry, look within and you will find Sai is there. And you will get rid of all your unhappiness. This very strong message hits us hard, where Swami is reminding us to look within and seek that Sai within us, that he is that close to us. That is the lesson that Swami has been trying to teach Brother Ravi Kumar and all of us. And there isn't a more relevant and appropriate occasion than the Aradhana Mahotsavam day for us to internalize this message. We miss Swami and we may feel lonely, but all we need to do is look within and realize that he is with us, close to us and never apart. Hence, the only difference in Swami's address today is that he has moved from Yajur Mandir to our Hridaya Mandir, the resident of our hearts. With this, we end this musical offering by reliving the ecstasy of this profound kavali, Sai bin raha na jaye. Jai Sai Ram.
मोहब्बत की कमी दिल में अगर एहसास होता है, जरा झांको तो पाओगे कि साई पास होता है। ओ करिश्मा ये उसी का है कि दुनिया खूबसूरत लगती है, वरना आदमी को आदमी क्या रास होता है। साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए। चैन ना आए मोहे चैन ना आए, चैन ना आए मोहे चैन ना आए, चैन ना आए मोहे चैन ना आए, चैन ना आए मोहे चैन ना आए। जब से देखा तुझको साई मेरे, दर्श के प्यासे नैना सांझ सवेरे जब से है देखा तुझको साई मेरे, दर्श के प्यासे नैना सांझ सवेरे, मिट मर जाए तुझ पे हमसे न रूठे तू, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं, जिंदगी सौंप दे हम चरणों में तेरे यूं, मन मंदिर से जाओ न साई, मन मंदिर से जाओ न साई, चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, सांसें भी तेरी, मेरी सब सांसें भी तेरी, मेरी सब सांसें भी तेरी, तुझ पे कुर्बान हो ये जीवन, तुझ पे कुर्बान हो ये जीवन, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, बस तमन्ना है ये मेरी, पे कुर्बान हो ये जीवन, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, अब तमन्ना है ये मेरी, बस तमन्ना है ये मेरी, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, चैन नाए मोहे चैन नाए, चैन नाए मोहे बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, साई बिन रहा न जाए, रहा न जाए।
Sairam everyone and welcome back. I think such a moving presentation. I feel like all of us are literally lost for words. I can only think of one thing. I can only think Mera Sai Prasanna Hoga. Swami will be happy, I think, with this musical presentation, really. And thank you, Bhajan team, for that extraordinary offering. I remember someone once asked Swami, Swami, what is the distance between me and you? And Swami answered, Bangaru, the distance between me and you is just a thought. The moment you think of me, I appear in your heart. And with that thought, let us now offer Arati to our beloved Swami. Sairam.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Sathya Sai Hare Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Bhakta Jana Samrakshak Pati Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadish Hare Shivadana Shrikara Sarva Pranapate Swami Sarva Pranapate Ashrita Kalpalatika Ashrita Kalpalatika Apadvandhava Om Jai Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Guru Daivamu Mariyantayunire Swami Mariyantayunire Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nagendra Shayana Om Jai Jagadish Hare Omkara Rupa Ojasvi Sai Mahadeva Sathya Sai Mahadeva Mandala Harati Anduko Mandala Harati Anduko Mandala Giridhari Om Jai Jagadish Hare Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Satya Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satguru Deva Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Satya Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satguru Deva Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana 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 Satya Narayana Narayana Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sadguru Deva Om Shanti 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 Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji Ki Jai.
Sairam everyone. So we will be sharing all the presentations done today via our YouTube channel in the near future, and a longer version of the interview featured in the seat also will be shared in an upcoming series. So for those who joined today's morning program, right, Uncle Rama, I think mentioned a very poignant statement in his speech. He said that Aradhana Mahotsavam is the day when Swami moved from the Yajur Mandir to our Hridaya Mandir. Swami himself have said that Sai, S-A-I, is seek always inside. So we should seek Swami always within us. And with that thought, with that message, we draw today's program to a conclusion. Have a blissful weekend ahead, and Jai Sai Ram.